Bill Murray, right? Bill Murray is one of Hollywood's most elusive actors, so to speak, right? Bill Murray is one of Hollywood's most elusive actors in regards to, he doesn't have an agent. He's got a number you can call and leave a voicemail if you want him to be in a movie. He's notorious for showing up to parties, notorious for showing up to events, and just kind of like showing up and going like, "Hey, I'm Bill Murray. What's crack-a-lacking with you guys here? What's going on? What's going on with the crew?" And it's kind of like he's like an internet legend in that regard. But when it comes to Ghostbusters, he's always been elusive. He's always been elusive past Ghostbusters 2. I felt they had to kind of drag him kicking and screaming to do Ghostbusters, the video game, which he did talk up and promote quite a bit. And then, of course, there was the Ghostbusters Hellfire, the third film that was rumored to come out or rumored to be in development a couple of years ago before Harold Ramis passed away, and that never happened. And then, of course, Harold Ramis passed, and then we found out that Paul Feig was going to be adapting a remake, a reboot, if you will, and it was terrible. It was bad. So then Ghostbusters 3 or Ghostbusters 2020 is a thing. And then the question becomes, will Bill Murray make an appearance? We know Dan Ackroyd and Ernie Hudson are on board. We know this. But what about Bill Murray? Well, apparently, he's kind of back. He says he would be down for appearing in Jason Reitman's Ghostbusters movie. And not only was he down to be in this movie, he actually really praises Ghostbusters as a franchise and what it kind of means to him, which is, at least in my experience, probably the most Bill Murray has ever said about this kind of film. Now, it says here that Murray sat down with IndieWire at Cannes to promote Jim Jarmusch's zombie movie, The Dead Don't Die, which, by the way, if you haven't seen that trailer yet, go watch that trailer. It looks hysterical. They dropped it on April 1st, the first trailer at least, and a lot of people thought that it might be a fake movie. It's not. It's real. It looks fantastic. And so, as always, in these kind of interviews, Ghostbusters tends to come up. And Murray surprisingly said he would appear in Reitman's movie if he was asked. And he says, "This franchise pays for my son's college. We made this thing. We are the caretakers of it. It's a great thing, and it was a really fun movie to make. It's a real movie with some really funny stuff in it. They're wonderful people. Danny, Ernie, Harold, Rick Moranis, Annie Potts. They're some of the coolest people, and they had real careers. They treat people well. They really understand what it is to be a movie actor. It's a complete collaboration." Now, if you've ever kind of listened to what Bill Murray has ever said in regards to Ghostbusters, this actually comes across as one of the nicest, sweetest things that this man has ever said about Ghostbusters. And that's true. Not that he's ever besmirched it or he's ever talked crap about it, but it always kind of feels like he just doesn't care. That Bill Murray, in essence, just never really cared. Once it was out and done, once the second one came out, they made all their money. He was kind of done with it, as Bill Murray's kind one to do with these kind of projects, and this one, I think to him, I think he's already going to be in it, to be honest with you. I think they're going to announce it at Comic-Con. I have a feeling there's going to be a panel for it at Comic-Con. But I think that when he says this here, he's like, look, this franchise paid for my son to go to college, which I think ultimately the amount of money they made off the sequel would have paid for his son, his grandkids, and his great-grandchildren to go to college. But he says, like, we're the caretakers of it. We made this. It's ours. And you got to love that he's not talking about the 2016 reboot. He's not saying, "Oh, I wish there was a sequel to that movie. I wish there was a sequel to that movie that came out 3 years ago that nobody liked." No, he's saying here that that line, "We are the caretakers of it," actually is significant in my opinion, because he's really talking up everybody. He says, like, they're really good actors. They're really good people. They treat people well. They don't talk down to people. What does that remind you of? How the cast and crew and the studio head of the last movie acted, right? Right? Paul Feig, Melissa McCarthy, Tom Rothman all came out attacking, and talking down to the fan base, talking down to other people who'd criticized the movie. And here, it's like, no. This was a collaboration. These were good people. These were great people. This was a great thing. And this ultimately is what people are looking forward to. And I think this kind of boost in that regard, especially that Bill Murray is interested in coming back to make an appearance or to have a big part in the movie or something. I guarantee he's not going to have a big part, but I think he'll have a significant cameo appearance, and I'm hoping he'll be in the vast majority of the movie. I'm hoping he'll be a main character. This is where I'm gonna, fanboy it a little bit here. But when I look at, like, let's say, The Force Awakens, and what fans wanted from this new trilogy was Han, Luke, Leia, and Chewie all together on screen again, all together in the same room again, and we didn't get that. That's, one of those things that people kind of bring up in these conversations. And I think with Ghostbusters 3, if, Harold Ramis has been dead for a few years now, nothing's going to bring him back, unfortunately. But, to have the remaining people together in costume once again is what fans want. And I think Jason Reitman gets that. I think Jason Reitman understands that. He classifies himself as the original, as the first Ghostbusters fan, which makes all the sense in the world. And he's trying to tell a good story. And clearly Murray seems to be like, he is wanting to work on it. Like, he's wanting to be involved. And that to me is just awesome. I can't wait. I'm hoping we get to see more in Comic-Con. Maybe we get a full-on, an actual teaser, not just a tease of a tease, not just the tip of a tease, but, an actual full-blown teaser, and get more about the film. And I'm thinking we're probably going to get that. I do feel we're going to get that. And I feel like it's going to be a great time. And I personally can't wait for July 10th, 2020, which is when Ghostbusters 3 or Ghostbusters 2020, whatever they're going to call it, finally hits theaters.